Hey, should Apple buy Rivian? Wall Street analyst Gene Munster thinks they should, but I think I have a better idea for Apple. And is Fisker in a doom spiral? It's not looking good. They're raising going concern alarms, and they're trying to get Nissan to help them out. It's Monday, March 4th, 2024. Let's get to it. Boom! Happy Monday, everybody. It's another big week in the world of EVs, and even Mr. Batman here has something to say about it. Over the weekend, there was a report that Gene Munster, who's a big-time Wall Street analyst, really good Wall Street analyst, he kind of posited that Apple should buy Rivian. Now, we all know that Apple has canceled Project Titan, which was the Apple car, much to many people's dismay. But just because they canceled making their own car in-house doesn't mean they can't acquire an existing car company, right? So I think, Gene Munster's thing is that Rivian kind of makes sense because they already know how to make cars. They've already been doing it. It's a premium product. And, you could merge Apple's cash and technology prowess with a company that's already making cars and could probably take it to the next level. And while I think that's all mostly true, I'm just not sure that Rivian and Apple really have the same kind of aesthetic. Rivian's really kind of going for the whole sort of adventure, outdoor, overlanding kind of, sort of aesthetic, right? That's sort of what they are all about. That's not really what Apple's about, right? Apple is about sleek, minimalist, premium design. So I think they could and should still buy an existing car company, but just not Rivian. I think Polestar makes more sense. Polestar also needs money. They just raised $1 billion in funding to keep them going. They do have Geely as their parent company, which is pledged to keep them going until profitability into next year. But it seems to me like that's a perfect marriage because Polestar is mostly already built in China. If any premium company has experience with manufacturing in China, it is Apple. And I think Polestar and Apple's design aesthetic really kind of go together. Again, very minimalist, very premium, and it just kind of fits. I mean, it seems to me like if I think of Apple and if they were going to come out with an Apple car, what would it be like? I think it would be more similar to a Polestar than it would be to a Rivian. And I think Rivians are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm seriously considering an R1T for my next car. But Polestar, it just seems like it fits. If you even look at their websites, Polestar's website and Apple's website, it almost looks like they could have been designed by the same people, And I guess Rivian's kind of not that dissimilar. But it just seems to me like the sort of high-end just air of Polestar and sort of what Apple is. It's a premium product. Everybody knows that, yes, you pay more for Apple gear, whether it be a MacBook or a iMac or a iPad, iPhone. They're more expensive than a lot of their competitors, but they're better and they work. And to me, that's what Polestar is. Polestar is a little more expensive. It's more expensive than a Tesla, and it doesn't have all the crazy bells and whistles like the fart button and all that. But to me, that's not what Polestar is about. Polestar would never do that. They would just never do that. And I don't think Apple would ever do something like that either. So it just seems to me like if they were ever going to buy a car company, that would be the one to buy, and they would certainly benefit from Apple's not just cash, but also their technology, because Polestar runs on Android Automotive right now. So Apple could sort of knock out a competitor right there, because think about a car like a Polestar that's already high quality, a really fantastic vehicle already. You marry that with Apple's technology, and you sort of put that walled garden. You bring the Polestar inside the walled garden. I mean, it would be sick. So it's probably never going to happen. I'm sure it's just a pipe dream that Apple would ever even acquire any car company, much less Polestar or Rivian. But it kind of got me thinking when I saw that report from Gene Munster that just seemed like, yeah, if Apple was going to buy a car, it would be a Polestar. I mean, I've had a Polestar for almost 2 years now, and I always kind of felt like, put the Android Automotive thing aside, that it's kind of like Polestar is like the Apple of EVs, and it just sort of makes sense, you know. So again, it'll probably never happen, but it'd be cool to think about. Maybe Tim Cook, if you're listening, you never know. If you're listening, Tim, you know, buy Polestar. That would be super cool. Anyway, but Fisker, speaking of other car companies that are really in danger, Fisker raised a going concern alarm last week, and it really looks like they're in big trouble. And I saw a recent report that they're going to Nissan to try and get a lifeline to keep them going and to help them build their forthcoming EV pickup truck, the Alaska, I believe it's called. It kind of sounds like that might never happen. And it's unfortunate. I think the Fisker Ocean looks cool, but there's a lot of stuff about it, like just the things that I've seen online. I've never seen one in person because they haven't delivered very many of them. And it seems like most of the ones they have are probably mostly in California, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Correct me in the comments if I am. But it doesn't seem like it's really taken off very well. I know they had a lot of speed bumps when they delivered their first vehicles, a lot of problems. A lot of software issues and things that are coming but haven't shown up yet. And it's just, you know, it's almost like the original Fisker didn't make it. And I always kind of felt like, will this Fisker make it? It always just seemed like a little bit like it wasn't going to make it, you know. And it's unfortunate because, I think the Ocean looks like a cool vehicle. I think it could be turned around and made into a cool car if they fixed a lot of those software issues. And I really like the way, you know, the Pear, which they're going to be coming out with, was going to be a lower cost, sort of a smaller electric SUV sort of crossover. And the Alaska pickup truck looked really cool. And so they have a lot of cool design. I just don't know, you know, sometimes designers aren't the best managers of companies. And I think that might be Fisker's problem, but I hope they make it through and they can eventually make a really good car that takes off, but it ain't looking good. Anyway, you know what? That's all for Monday. It's the best day of the week because why? We're one day closer to Friday, and that's awesome. And you know what else is awesome? EVs. EVs are awesome, and it's okay to be awesome. I'll see you tomorrow. And so will Mr. Batman right here.